40 years ago, one of the most exciting and fascinating Olympic events took place right here in the US of A. The 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, California had many highlights. For example, composer John Williams scored the official Olympic theme, a track so epic it's been brought back for some of the modern Olympic Games. Both synchronized swimming and rhythmic gymnastics premiered at this event, plus Chris Mullin, Patrick Ewing, and Michael Jordan brought home gold in Olympic basketball. In this video, let's revisit the 1984 Olympic Games and discover how geopolitical tensions almost resulted in McDonald's running out of Big Macs. Welcome to another episode of McDonald's Unboxed, where we'll uncover the truth behind the fast food chain's promotional tie-ins. Please take a moment, click that like button, and if this is your first time checking us out, why not supersize your experience and subscribe to Retro Spectrum. The first time California hosted the Olympic Games was all the way back in 1932. The Great Depression meant that the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles were rather underwhelming. Participation was the lowest it had been in almost 30 years. That said, the event did result in the construction of Los Angeles' Memorial Coliseum. Known as the greatest stadium in the world, the Coliseum was constructed in honor of those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces during World War I. In 1960, the Winter Olympics were held in Squaw Valley, California. Both the men's biathlon and women's speed skating debuted at this event, which you could watch on TV for the first time thanks to the folks at CBS. Computers were first used to help tabulate the results of some of these athletic events thanks to a company known as IBM. The machines were huge, and some of the attendees were more fascinated by the computers than any actual Olympic events. Disney even got involved in the Squaw Valley Olympics, helping to design much of the look and pageantry of that event. The McDonald's Corporation would not get involved in the Olympics until the 1976 Summer Games in Quebec. Customers could participate in McDonald's Olympic Medals game. Scratch off a card and see which event you received. If the US won that event, you'd be entitled to a McDonald's menu item at participating locations. Americans took home something like 34 gold medals and 94 medals total, so it wound up being a pretty exciting promotion. Unfortunately, the United States, along with 64 Western nations, would boycott the Moscow Olympics in 1980 due to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, so Mickey D's would not bring back this popular marketing campaign for that event. The Olympic boycott was an unfortunate way to start an otherwise bodacious decade. You might remember some of the iconic films that were released in the early 80s. Films like Romancing the Stone and Karate Kid were released in 1984. So were Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Beverly Hills Cop, and 16 Candles. When you weren't chilling out in the Cineplex, you might pop on your Walkman and listen to a little Prince, Cyndi Lauper, or Duran Duran whilst enjoying a refreshing Orange Julius at the food court of your local shopping center. Oh, and that 80s mall aesthetic was in full swing. The unique look of the 80s could be seen throughout popular culture and would even seem to have an impact on the next Summer Olympics.
The people were ready, either to watch the major international sporting event or share in the spectacle from the outside. The main staging area for events, the Coliseum, was busy with last-minute detail work and early arrivals. It looked good, though some said the official Olympic color scheme could scare years off your life.
The Summer Olympics would return to Los Angeles, California in 1984 for what would become one of the most successful events in Olympic history. Coordinators were looking for a mascot to help promote the event. The idea of using a character spokesperson had started during the 70s and proved rather successful. There were a few different groups interested in working on the mascot, but in the end, the bid went to the Walt Disney Company. Disney artist Bob Moore was brought in to help design the character. Moore had worked on films like Dumbo and The Three Caballeros before taking on the role of Chief Director of Marketing. He designed movie posters for Disney, logos, letterhead, and he even worked alongside Florida's Citrus Commission to create Florida's Orange Bird. For the Olympics, Moore and his team considered a lot of different ideas. For example, since California's state flag features a bear, they thought that could be a fun mascot, but unfortunately, Moscow had already used that idea at the last Summer Olympics. In the end, a bald eagle would prove to be the natural choice for the 1984 Olympics. Sam the Olympic Eagle was described as a short, stubby, cuddly little eagle with a large head, bulbous middle section, and a protruding derriere accented by an array of tail feathers. A cartoon would be created for several markets, giving Sam the opportunity to show off his detective skills.
Agora todos os salgadinhos Elma Chips têm uma figurinha adesiva de Sam, a mascote das Olimpíadas.
A physical mascot was created for the Olympic Games, and Sam would even have the opportunity to hang out with Ronald McDonald and his entourage.
Ronald, I'm trying to test this equipment for the Olympics. Can you help?
Leave it to me, Sam.
Jumping hurdles by two, vaulting into the blue. Who can do it?
Whoa.
Ronald, that's who.
Thanks, Ronald. Now off to the Olympics.
See you there.
McDonald's,
Oh, boy. Lunch.
Ronald and you.
McDonald's was dubbed the official fast food franchise of the 1984 Summer Olympics and agreed to help cover some of the costs of the Olympic Swim Stadium. The event would also utilize the Pasadena Rose Bowl and the Memorial Coliseum, just like the 1932 Olympics. Sam, the Olympic Eagle, would appear on Happy Meals and on plastic cups. McDonald's also had these cool glass mugs that you could purchase for 69 cents with any large sandwich item.
Now you can compete in the Olympics too. Play McDonald's. When the U.S. wins, you win Olympic Games.
McDonald's customers were especially excited to see the return of the popular "When the U.S. wins, you win" scratch-off campaign. Once again, you could win McDonald's menu items every time America brought home a medal. Specifically, a regular-sized Coke for a bronze, a regular-sized fry for a silver, and a friggin' Big Mac for free when the U.S. brought home gold.
Just scratch off the name of the Olympic event on your game card, and if America wins a gold medal, you win a free Krusty Burger.
Now, I'd imagine that McDonald's execs probably reflected on the 1976 Olympic Games in order to gauge just how much free stuff they'd have to dish out, so to speak. But there's one thing you should know about the 1984 Summer Olympics. The Soviets were still unhappy about the Western boycott of the Moscow Games just 4 years earlier. 14 of the Eastern Bloc countries decided to respond in kind during the 1984 Olympics.
Well, as an American citizen, I'm disappointed. How do you, as a Russian citizen, feel about what your government did today, just individually? How do you feel?
Individually, I'm very disappointed because the Olympics is a very major sporting event, and the Soviet athletes and the Soviet public was very much eager to see our athletes to participate.
Soviet boycott, U.S. unopposed in most events. How does this affect our giveaway?
Let's see. You personally stand to lose $44 million.
The lack of Soviet competition had a huge effect on the United States medal count. Get this. During the Los Angeles Games in 1984, the United States would take home 174 medals. 83 of those were gold.
And the Americans jump out to an early lead.
Patience, my pet.
The extremely high medal count was unexpected for the McDonald's Corporation, who were now expected to redeem this incredible number of free menu items. Some locations would even report a Big Mac shortage during the campaign. While the When the U.S. Wins, You Win campaign did prove to be a financial blunder for the popular fast food chain, it did bring a lot of attention to the brand. Plus, the high medal count meant quite a bit of national pride for most Americans. McDonald's would once again bring back the promotion in 1988 and then again in 1996. As always, it's just kind of neat to look back at the fun ways that the McDonald's Corporation would get people excited about the franchise. Now, before we go, I'd like to ask you folks a few questions. First, are you excited about the upcoming Olympic Games? And do you have a favorite event? Also, do you think McDonald's should bring back the When the U.S. Wins, You Win campaign? After all, the Summer Olympics will be returning to LA in 2028. Could be a fun time to bring it back. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and consider subscribing to Retro Spectrum so you don't miss a single episode of McDonald's Unboxed.